Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Good to see you all. Welcome to episode 1292. Good to see you all. So yeah, God only knows. That is for sure. So, hey, listen, just send out your messages of joy, of gratitude, of love, of hope, of peace. Just send some of your friends, your good friends, your close friends. You send them a little bit of the good morning, Amanda Chef. Just send them the little poop emoji with the glasses or the smiley face. And tell them, here's your Hershey kiss for that day. All right, so this is a continuation of the 12-month mastermind. I also have the 12-week mastermind. I would encourage you, it has been life-changing. The 12-week mastermind, from the people who took the first group, the first 12 weeks, they actually have had one gentleman saved $80,000 on an investment, $80,000 investment saved. So $80,000 in his pocket. Another woman who was unemployed at the time found a job and got $15,000 raise like that. There have been other people who have had massive breakthroughs, tremendous income, tremendous relationship changes, because it's the 12 weeks of you taking care of you. So if you want to learn more about that, go to 12weekswithsean.com, 12weekswithsean.com. So who am I? For those of you that I have not had the privilege of meeting before, my name is Sean G. Murphy. The G helps me be found on social media. 5-time #1 best-selling author. I've stood on stage in 30-plus countries, literally 30-plus countries, traveled to, passport stamps. And I've been translated into over 40 different languages when I've done my trainings. All of that to say, I've seen a thing or two. I've stood on stages in China and spoke to 6- and 7-figure income earners. Company, 25th largest network marketing company in the world, asked me to come over and speak and train to them for all day. Why do I share all of that? Because it's easy when it's free. It's easy when it's free to say, well, I don't really have to do anything. It's really not that important. It's kind of motivating, but I haven't really spent anything. Let me let you in on a little secret. You're spending more than most people spend. You're making a decision to show up here. You're making a decision to have a conversation with me. Even though I'm doing most of the talking, you're having a conversation with me so that you can sharpen your saw. I hope you're not in the grind. I hope you're sharpening your saw, because in the grind, nothing good comes out of the grind. It really doesn't. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, this month is a month of indistractable. How do you become undistractable, indistractable? How do you become so focused, so laser, so keen, so tuned in, so turned on, so fired up that things happen to you where you say all the time, you won't believe what happened? Here's one of the ways. We've got two kinds of distractions. We've got internal, hunger, thirst, right? Those are distractions. How many of you have ever said, man, I can't concentrate. I'm so hungry. And then there's external. 58% of the distractions that happen in somebody's life, 58% are because of mobile phones. That's what statistics say. I'm not your statistician. I'm just your friendly informer. So if 58% of distractions come from mobile phones, now, it can be an attraction. Here's the challenge. Most people will say it's a distraction, but they can only say it's a distraction if they're attracted to something. If they have an attraction to something, that's the only time they can really say they're being distracted. Man, I'm just so distracted. My question to you would be, from what? My question to you would be, from what are you being distracted? Well, I can't get my stuff done. So now the problem becomes, how do you get so focused? How do you get so focused? How do you get so tuned in, turned on, lasered up so that you don't have to deal with distractions? Well, keep track today. Just keep track today. Start with understanding. Good morning, Fiona. You want to say hello to everybody? Hi, say hello to everybody. Okay. Yes, mommy's taking you out. Go on. Go outside. Outside, Beam. Go, 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 go. So she's like a magician. She knows how to open the doors and unlock doors. Anyways, that's a distraction. That was an external distraction. Back to the show. So decide today, take some time today as you go through your day and look over the listen, you're worth a 60-second review every hour. You're worth 1 minute every hour. Just take a minute. Okay, it's 59 minutes past the hour. What distracted me? How did I move closer to my goals or farther away? Was I attraction mode or distraction mode? Just be aware of it. What distracted you? Did some of you drop a P in the chat if you're a people pleaser and somebody comes by and you're working diligently on a task and they say, "Excuse me, can I ask you for some help?" And you huff under your breath. Ugh. Yes, what can I do for you? And you get pulled away. One of the things that there's some people who actually sell little flags to stick on your computer. Drop an F in the chat if you've seen any of these little flags that people will actually put on their computer monitor, and they'll flip it up and it'll be a red flag, meaning I'm busy, do not interrupt me. If not, you can find them on Amazon, I'm sure. So now all of a sudden, so decide what's external, what's internal. The internal distractions don't always have to be something, I say, physical in nature. All internal distractions create a physical change in the body. What I'm saying is that it doesn't always have to be hunger or thirsty, or listen, maybe you did big leg day yesterday and you got some cramps. There's other distractions that are menacing, that are dream crushing, and those are the distractions of self-talk. When your voices, yes, we all have voices. When your voices in that brilliant brain of yours have a conversation with you, and they say that, hey, there is a Nano, long live Nano. Hey, listen, safe travels to Dubai when you go on your leadership journey and your leadership mastermind. That's pretty cool. Good to see you, brother. Thank you. So when you take time to understand your self-talk, when you take time to pay attention to your self-talk, the challenge with when you start to pay attention, here's the thing. This internal distraction called self-talk is so menacing when it's negative, because we have 60, 70,000 thoughts a day. Listen, you may want to write this down. 80% of our thoughts are not in our favor. We have 80% of our thoughts are repetitive. And the majority of them, 80% of those thoughts are not in our favor. And you wonder why you struggle sometimes. Because this is all happening at an unconscious level. There's something called SVT, subconscious visualization technique. Between an SVT and a QLQ, QLQ stands for quantum linguistic questioning. When you QLQ, you activate your SVT and you wind up with your ABCs, meaning you wind up back at the foundation, fundamental, the beginnings of what you need to lay in place for your success, which is why what I teach is called personal undevelopment, Most people are reading books and they're stacking it on top of their old story and stacking it on top of their old story and stacking it on top of their old story. And before it's all done, they have this great veneer, this great thin little coating, this thin little layer of what looks like success. And this thin little layer of success that they have, this veneer, is easily punctured, is easily torn, is easily broken. Give me an example, Sean. Here's an example. somebody calls you out on social media, somebody does something you don't like on social media, somebody doesn't reply to you in a text, and you lose your stuff. Your boss says something to you, a coworker says something to you, and you lose your stuff. You lose your shit. You talk about people who are not even in the room, meaning that have upset you a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, and you still talk about them. You know what they did to me last year? You know, I lost my job because of them. I had to quit because of so-and-so. That was a year ago. That was a decade ago. That's how you know that veneer is absolutely thin as paper. So how do you build all that up? First of all, you've got to personally undevelop all of the great books that are out there. Talk to you about getting back to your foundation, to your fundamentals. Wallace D. Waddell says it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. Napoleon Hill talks about desire. He talks about the most powerful tool that's available in order for people to come to his mastermind, in order for him to have them inside of his mastermind, is the ability to be disciplined. Discipline is the ability to do something long after the wonderful joy and the emotion of choosing that path, choosing that focus, choosing that vision has faded away. You're still going to do it on a daily basis. So my question to you is, the most recent book you're reading, can you tell me what chapter 2 is? The last book you read, can you tell me what chapter 2 is? Chapter 4? Here's why we have such a challenge of staying focused, is because we have this distraction of the shiny object syndrome. If I do the letters right, shiny object syndrome is really SOS. Save ourself. We're always looking for something to save us. We're always looking for something that's going to be the thing that'll fix me. That'll be the thing that'll take me to my next level. That'll be the thing that I can say I finally have achieved my success. Let me let you in on a little clue. None, absolutely zero, goose egg, nada, nunca, nada will work. Not one tool will work for you until, Jim Rohn's favorite word, until you fix your foundation. That old story that happened to you when you were 6 or 7, somebody embarrassed you, some trauma that happened to you in your life, maybe you were molested as a child. Listen, these are realities that happen. These are challenges. Maybe you had maybe you had to do something to your body when you were little that you didn't want to do, that you've just kept quiet. Nobody knows about. You've kept this a secret. Maybe something happened to you that was so heinous, you don't even want to talk about it. I can promise you that is running at an unconscious level. It is definitely running in your subconscious level. And the brain, listen carefully. I'm a neuroencoding specialist. You won't find many trainers on the internet who do live conversations, because typically they understand the fundamentals. How many of you know somebody who can write brilliant Spanish, but they can't speak it? How many of you know that they can speak textbook Spanish, but they don't sound like they're in a conversation? Drop an S in the chat if you know anybody who's Spanish. Thank God they understand the Spanish, but their Spanish it's not fluent. It's not fluid. That's how most people's trainings are. They're not fluent. They're not fluid. And so now here's the challenge. You have somebody who's teaching you how to personally develop. They got some hangups too. This is why the phrase life coach kind of sends me into a tizzy. You have people who out there, I'm a certified life coach. Your life is a wreck, and you're going to teach me how to get better? Listen, I have that certificate. I've gone through that training as a certified life coach and a certified life coach trainer. But I'm not going to coach you on life. I'm going to coach you on the moment. So in this moment, you have all of these things that are happening in your body. You have all of these things that are happening in your brain. You have all of these external influences that are happening. The challenge is what do you do with the 20 million bits of data that are coming into your body right now? 20 million bits of data, and you're conscious of 30, 40 of them, conscious of 30 or 40. Your brain is constantly nexting. So this idea that you're going to go personally develop, your brain is saying, listen, we've only got two things that we do. The brain only does two things. You can force it to do a couple more things, but the brain will only function at an unconscious level, at a pre-programmed level of running, will this kill me, right? The addiction, the fight, flight, or freeze, or is how fast can I put a pattern in place? How fast can I pull a pattern out of my inventory and say, this is the same thing? Because the brain does not want you to have to consume energy. It already consumes 20% of your body's resources. So now what happens? You go to an event. How many of you have ever gone to an event? You go to an event, you get excited. Your body starts to vibrate. You start to feel a little bit of energy. You have this external distraction towards an attraction. Because see, if somebody says you've got to go speak to 5 people a day, that's one hell of a distraction. You have to go for no. Drives me crazy when I hear this. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But you know what? It sometimes motivates people. You got to go for no. Is that an internal distraction or an external distraction? That's both. Dealing with the addiction to approval, dealing with mental toughness, dealing with self-talk. That is a cornucopia of concern for me. When somebody says, "Yo, well, you go for 500 no's." That is the easiest, that is the cheapest way to motivate people. Cheap meaning they'll buy it in a heartbeat. That's easy to pick up. Yeah, no, everybody says no. I just need to go for no's. And you know what happens every time you get a no? It reinforces that trauma that happened in your life in the past. That's called neuroencoding. Every time you go and you get another no, and you get another no, and you get another no, or sometimes you'll get a yes that was absolutely a no. Drop a Y and an N in the chat if you've ever had a yes that was absolutely a no. How many times have you ever said a yes that was absolutely a no? See, that was an external distraction for people. Sometimes we draw an attraction to the things we know aren't going to serve us. But we think, we hope, we pray, we wish, we want that thing to be good. We want that person to be better. We want to be able to fix them. Ladies, thank you for being willing to sacrifice yourself to fix us, to help us. Sorry for all of the times it didn't work out that way. So, what do you do today? What are some action steps you can take today? Here's some action steps you can take today on dealing with becoming indistractable. Nir Eyal has a good book. Nir Eyal also has a book called Hooked. Cal Newport wrote a book about persuasion. Robert Cialdini did a book on deep work. All of these things coalesce, and if you put them in the blender, they all kind of say the same thing. They'll all come out saying the same thing. One, we need some deep work. And the deep work to wind up being to find your true attraction is to pay attention to what's distracting you. I know the law of attraction, Sean, I shouldn't speak bad things that are coming into my life. No. This isn't about speaking them. This is about becoming aware of them. When you start to become aware of your conversations, when you start to become aware of your emotions, thoughts create emotions. Thoughts trigger the chemical factory in your brain, dopamine, serotonin, all of these things, aggravation, frustration. This is why you're the greatest pharmacist on the planet. This is why you can write yourself a prescription right now for success. Here's your prescription for success. I am enough. I am enough. I am working towards being better every day. When you start to say affirmations, I am a millionaire. Unless you've made $750,000, $500,000 in a year, your brain goes, great words. There is nothing to them. There is nothing to that phrase. There's no emotion. There's no conversation. There's no confidence because the brain is searching. Okay, when did we make $1 million? When did we get close to $1 million? And the brain says, there is no pattern for this. So that becomes a distraction. And you wind up being frustrated. You say things like, oh my God, I do my affirmations every day and nothing's happening. When's it going to be my turn? You ever say, when's it going to be my turn? Well, right now it's your turn. There is no turn that you should be waiting on. You are in the now right now. Everything you want is as close as your skin. Everything you want is as close as your skin. It is you, the one that is needed to get into the harmonic vibration of what it is that you want. Wallace D. Waddell says it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. We must move from the competitive world to the creative world. Who are you competing with right now? And if you're competing with somebody right now, the challenge is you're not sitting in gratitude for what you have. Joseph McClendon says the repetition is the mother of all success. You want to know who the father is? Gratitude. Repetition in gratitude, you will birth some new ideas that will blow you away. So pay attention to today. How many times, drop a D in the chat, if during the course of our conversation right now, you were distracted from what I was saying. Listen, it happens. Become aware of it. See how often it happens. Drop a D in the chat if you were distracted at all. If a ping on your laptop came in and it said email and something popped in that top right-hand corner, if you got a text while you're listening to me, if you thought about somebody that you needed to call today, all of these distractions that are happening are forced upon us because of the way social media and technology has forced us to become distracted. And your daughter's a perfect example of joy. This is a thing that was an attraction too. She could have been a little upset, frustrated. Maybe she did something funny. Maybe, how many times do we get on the phone, we get on a call, and all of a sudden the dogs show up, right? Fiona showed up just here a minute ago. She pushed through the door. The kids start to go, Mom, I just got on the call. Why does this happen? If you don't believe the law of attraction works, you ask a mom who says, I want everything to be quiet. I need to get on this call. I got to do a little presentation. The universe doesn't hear what you don't want. It only hears that you aren't asking for the quiet. You are not. And then all of a sudden, everybody shows up, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and neighbors show up when you say, I need it to be quiet. I don't want any distractions. And the universe says, yo, you want distractions? I'll deliver distractions for you. How many times, this is going to be a little funny, it happens to me sometimes. How many times you're all ready, the Zoom is getting ready to start, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, and you're like, where did this come from? So here's some homework for you. Here's some success work for you. Just keep a little chart. Maybe you do it in an open text to yourself. And you have D, and you just put a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, and you go down, you tab down a little bit, you hit return, and you go, and it's A for attraction. 1, 1, 1, 1. And anytime you get distracted or attracted, just look back over the last hour. How many times did you get distracted? I got distracted a couple of times. Fiona came in, the coffee pot did something, Michelle came out, right? I think a mosquito bit me on my ankle. As you pay attention, what you'll find is the more you pay attention, the more attention will be paid to you. Listen carefully. The more attention you pay to your energy, to your focus, to your joys, to your wants, to your wishes, to your distractions, the more energy they will pay to you. It goes back to that phrase, what you are seeking is seeking you. And the way that you attract more of what you want is you stay in the magnetic field, meaning movement towards it, dreaming towards it, believing towards it, talking about it to yourself. And you create a magnetic field around it. And then all of a sudden what happens is that what you are seeking, you see it and it sees you. And how many times when you're sitting at the bar, right? And you're like, oh my God, oh, do you see them down there? And your friends are like, they're cute. Like, oh my God, that's like, oh my, if only they would. And you look and they catch your eye and you catch their eye. What do you instantly do? The thing that you have a tremendous desire for, listen carefully. You look at it and it looks at you. What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you do? You're staring at the thing that you want, and it feels you staring at it, and it's been looking for you, and it looks at you. What do? You break contact. The thing you want is seeking you, and you break eye contact. And then you go to look back, and it's gone. What do you do about that? This is all about intentions. This is about knowing that sometimes the good things that happen in our life are really meant to happen for us because that's what we're attracting to us. We want the external attraction. Yet when that happens, when we see that, and the thing that looks at us, the goal that finds us, the job that's seeking us, the relationship that's searching for us, the money that's seeking us out, the energy frequency that's seeking us out, the vibration that's seeking us out, that we are wishing and wanting for, the second we find it, we're like, oh, because we don't have a story strong enough to allow ourselves to fall in love. Are you ready for the love? To fall back in love with ourselves. So pay attention today to your internal and external distractions. Are you somebody that, my bride is this way, won't eat all day long, and at 4:00 says, I'm starving and I don't eat all day long, and then it's a conversation about how you didn't take care of you all day long? I don't have time for that. What happens if you had time to I don't eat a handful of trail mix. I don't care. Oh, I love that breakthrough. Angel Oliveira. I love that. Hopefully it was a positive breakthrough. Usually they are, but sometimes breakthroughs can be in either direction. So pay attention to the things that pull your energy. Pay attention to the things that pull your energy. Take care of you. When you get that little instinct, get up and walk around. Listen, standing up at your desk for 15 seconds, moving around, saying, I chose to move. You'll be amazed at what happens by the end of the day, how much you are in charge of you. So pay attention to what pulls your energy. Thank you for letting me pull some of your energy into my world today. As Jim Rohn would say, hey, listen, I appreciate you. A little bit of me goes with you today, Jim would say. And then he'd say, I want you to remember a little bit of you goes with me. Thanks for making my day better today. Thanks for putting a smile on my face. Thanks for allowing this farm boy from Ohio, who barely made it through high school and drove by a lot of colleges. Thanks for letting me live my dream today. Thanks for letting me have a chance to share some of my experience, and thanks for joining me on my journey. I appreciate you. I am your head, figuring it out as I go along, certified goofball. I'll see you all where? At the next event. YouTube, I appreciate you. Have an incredible day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you that are watching, there was 3 folks watching. I freaked out. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I'll see you all where? At the next event. Appreciate you. Instagram, you rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I will see you all where? Today's Friday. You know what? I may add you in tomorrow. Just if you got your phone on and you see me ping you, if you see the system ping you that Sean's going live, you may want to jump in. I love you tons. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now. VIPers, how are you? It's funny that I'm over here. Okay, what'd you learn? What'd you like? Feedback, conversaciones. Wow, everybody's picture's gone. Something changed.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Get out of focus mode, Sean.
oh, where's this at?
Either you, Erica, or RC hit the focus mode. Somebody did.
That's so cool.